Good evening, kids. Okay, so for your second video today, we are going to go over standard form. There will be 4 sections, so section 1 is going to be titled Rules. Now remember, standard form is your AX plus BY equals C. You know it's standard form when X and Y are on the same side. So if you were to draw a line down your equal sign, you notice that X and Y are on the same side as the equal sign. Now the most important part is to know that your A has to be positive and a whole number. So remember, A has to be positive and a whole number. There can be no fractions. And that's this position right here, your A.
The number in front of X.
So that is all you need for section 1, is to have those as your notes. Now section 2, we're going to start off with a very simple example. In section 2, if you are already given the equation in slope-intercept form, how do we change it to standard form? Well, we already know that X and Y have to be on the same side. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to move this X to the same side as your Y. Right now they're on 2 different sides. So you always do the opposite. So if it's a positive 2X, we're going to subtract our 2X. Now, are X and Y the same family? No. So you keep them separate. So you have negative 2X plus Y equals 3. Now I'm going to move over here and rewrite it. Now, negative 2X plus Y equals 3. We are not finished because if you go back to your rules, A has to be positive and a whole number. If you look at your A here, A is positive, but A is a whole number, but it is not positive. So we have to change it. How you change it is you set parentheses around the whole equation and you pull out what you want to get rid of. Well, the only thing we really need to get rid of is this negative sign. So we're going to pull it out to the outside. When you get rid of it, it cancels it out, leaving you with 2X, but you have to distribute it with both other parts. So if it's negative times a positive will give you a negative Y, and negative times a positive will give you a negative 3. Now if you look, our A is positive, our A is a whole number, so that there is your final answer. If you have any questions, come to class tomorrow with them. Moving on to section 3. I'll turn it over. Section 3. Now we're going to do it with a point and a slope. So if they give you the point 3, negative 5, and they give you the slope of 2/3, how would we solve it? Well, as you learned yesterday or earlier today, Y equals mx plus b. You label your points. 3 is your x, negative 5 is your y, slope is your m. And you plug them in. So you have negative 5 equals 2/3 times your x, which is 3, plus b. Then you solve. First thing is you got to multiply. Well, 2/3 times 3 is just 2. Remember, anytime you multiply by your denominator, it cancels it out. So you have negative 5 equals 2 plus b. Your ultimate goal is to get b by itself. So you're going to subtract your 2 on both sides, leaving you with negative 7 equals b. Now remember, from class, you are not finished. You have to take your b and the original m and you plug it in to y equals 2/3 x minus 7. Now if we're going to move this to standard form, remember standard form is when x and y are on the same side. So we move the x to this side. So you have negative 2/3 x. You always do opposite. If it's positive, you're going to subtract. Negative 2/3 x. X and y are not the same, so you rewrite it out, which is negative 2/3 x plus y equals negative 7. Now if we look at our a, is our a positive and a whole number? Well, no. So you do your parentheses and you pull out what you don't want. We don't want a negative, so we're going to pull our negative out. And we don't want the fraction. Remember, in getting rid of a fraction, you always get rid of your denominator. So we're going to pull out our 3. This would cancel those out, leaving you with 2x. But then we have to distribute it to the other two. Negative 3 times y is negative 3y. Negative 3 times negative 7 is a positive 21. That there is your final answer. And our last section, which would be section 4, is if you are given 2 points and you want your answer in standard form. Well, first of all, can you find, is either one of these your y-intercept? Well, no. Can you find your slope from 2 points? Yes. So remember your slope equation. y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So you label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and you just plug them in. So you got 2 minus 7 all over 8 minus 4. 2 minus 7 is negative 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. So there is your slope. So now we know m equals negative 5 over 4. If you look, you have a slope and you have a point. So we're going to plug it into our y equals mx plus b with our point and our slope. 7 is our y. Our m is negative 5 over 4. And our x is 4. You can use either point, but the first one's usually always the easiest. Plus b. Then you just solve. Negative 5/4 times 4 cancels out, and you're just left with negative 5 plus b. Our ultimate goal is to get b by itself, so we add 5 to both sides, leaving you with 12 equals b. And remember, we're not finished. You got to take your b and your original m up here, and you're going to plug them in to your final y equals negative 5/4 x plus 12. Now if they want the answer in standard form, I'm just going to rewrite it down here so we have room. Remember, standard form is you have to have x and y on the same side. So you would add negative 5/4 x. Because it is negative, you add. They're not the same family, so you just rewrite it. And then we look at our a. Is our a positive? Yes. Is it a whole number? No. So you put your parentheses around, you pull out what you want to get rid of. To get rid of a fraction, you always pull out your denominator. So you pull out your 4. This cancels it out, leaving you with 5x, but you have to distribute it. 4 times y is 4y. 4 times 12 is 48. That there's your final answer. So there's a few examples of what we will be doing in class tomorrow. Please, if you have questions, keep them and ask them tomorrow in class. Have a good night.